All right, Lakerland, let's get into our next topic. This is another segment that we have from the Draymond Green and Shaquille O'Neal conversation, fellas. Give me 1 second and we are going to play this clip.
Do you think my guy deserves to be in that conversation?
Kobe?
Yes.
For sure. 100%.
So how come he's not all the time?
Here's why I think he's not. Number one, he played with you, and people hold that against him. Number two, Kobe kind of fell in a weird time. And what I mean by that is Mike left the league. When Mike left the league, y'all were dominating. And then when you left the Lakers, they had a few rough years. Wasn't great. They didn't have great roster. It wasn't great. While it wasn't going great, there was a young guy in Cleveland starting to make his hay. And so in the years where Cole could have been dominating, which he was from a number standpoint, but they weren't winning none, in those years, Bryant was making his hay and starting to make his name, and is he the best player? And I think the amount of time that it was a consensus that Kobe was the number one in the league, like the top guy. I don't think it was long enough for everybody to say, like, to put him in that conversation, because Bron then came and put his name in the conversation. And so from that point on, it's tug of war. Christmas Day games between those two guys. And so I don't think he accumulated enough people in saying that he dominated the way Mike dominated in the length of time that Mike dominated. Bron, the length of time that he's dominated. I don't think Kobe dominated himself for that length of time. I think he's definitely in the conversation, but I do think that's the reason why most people don't put him.
Wow. Interesting take from Draymond Green, giving his thoughts and reasons on why Kobe Bryant isn't really considered as the greatest of all time. I mean, first of all, I got to talk to the bosses because I don't know when Kobe wasn't, at least in the conversation. But, you know, he's kind of putting it on being a Robin to Shaquille O'Neal, amongst other things. BA, Kobe's your man, so I want to get your reaction off the top to what Draymond had to say about Kobe.
The only reason why Draymond is on emotion. Draymond is, he got Clutch Sports written on his forehead. So I salute to him, but nah, Draymond. The only reason why, the only reason why, and if true people in the culture of basketball knows that the fans have always said that for a good 10-year stretch, even Shaq, when he was playing with Shaq, Kobe's the number one player in the world. People have been saying that for years, but people, the fans don't run the media. You feel me? The fans, the media dictates what people think. And the only reason why Kobe fell from grace and he didn't get that type of status from the media is because he caught a case in Denver, Colorado. And when we talk about that case from Denver, Colorado, we bring in politics. And this is the politics, because he was supposed to be the new guy and he was that guy, but he fell from grace. Why? Specifically because of that. Because the players and the fans were always saying, especially even when they weren't winning, right? Even when they were the 7th seed, the 6th seed, and all of that stuff, and the year that he got injured and they didn't make the playoffs and he ended up missing like 30-some games. The fans loved him, but the media did not. Politics. That's the reason why Kobe was never mentioned by the media in what other type of situations, and they called him aloof. So he was the second coming of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and that's similar to Kareem issue with Kareem with his name in the title. I mean, in the greatest of all time standing, he didn't really communicate specifically with the media like that.
My thing about it is I at least appreciate Draymond having an explanation for what he had to say. Right or wrong, at least he had an explanation, something that we can kind of digest and break down. But I disagree so much because to me, the conversation of Kobe Bryant being the greatest of all time or just being in the mix came after Shaq left. I mean, you include with Shaq because he won 3 championships, but the doubt of him ever going again, what he had to go through, winning 2 more without Shaq, like that's what made Kobe so great. The 81 points, the final game, the 60, like all that happened after Shaq. That's the Black Mamba era is what made Kobe, goatish conversationalist. And it's just like that's really where I got to get off of this bus with Draymond Green. I respect him having an explanation, but to me, Kobe really put it down after that point of the Shaquille O'Neal experience.
It's the story of a hero. You get to the top of the mountain, you get knocked down, and then you get right back up to the top of the mountain. And the people don't appreciate you until the second time that you get there. But people been appreciating Kobe. But like I said, when it comes to the dictating certain narratives and things, that's all on the media. And the media, we know, have never really rocked with him post Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, they I mean, I understand what Draymond's saying. He's trying to talk about the dominance. I do understand what he's saying on that part. Is Jordan's dominance or whatever. And it seemed like maybe Kobe did get affected by the trade. But I know people still would consider him the best player during that time. But as far as the GOAT conversation, I mean, his body of work speaks for itself. So yeah, he had Shaq with him, but he won after Shaq as well. That's why I felt both of them needed to separate from each other and prove they can win without each other. Kobe did it and Shaq did it. So they needed each other, but they could do it without each other as well.
Yeah. And if you think about it, we're talking about two number one players, a 1A and 1B of sort, which at one point was actually the top two players in the NBA on the same team.
Yeah.
When do you ever see that?
That's a fact. That's a fact. Like I said, I'm glad he had an explanation, but to me, it just didn't make sense. But speaking of Draymond Green, I want to stick with him because he was in the news for, once again, all the wrong reasons. I don't know if you guys saw this story. Let me get it up. No Diddy.
No Diddy.
For the latest and greatest on your Los Angeles Lakers, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and we appreciate the support. Follow us on social media at Lakerland Show and join our Playback TV room for our free VIP access to our Lakers watch parties and, of course, the Lakerland podcast. That's playback.tv/Lakerland.